Welcome to Two Luckies,
the podcast,
and our series Dyin,
Cryin,
and
Lyin.
This is a series of us talking about Little House on the Prairie and our take on it as adults.
It is very different as an adult.
Very different. And if you sum this all up, they can fall into one of three categories, either Dyin,
They're crying,
or they're
lying.
So sit back, relax, come take an adventure with us as we reminisce on Little House the Prairie, Dyin,
Cryin,
and
Lyin.
Lyin.
Season 1, Christmas at Plum Creek. We are in town, snow on the ground, and Nellie is riding that black horse that we keep seeing at the Ingalls farm, and she's riding it around Laura like in circles, and she's trying to now get this horse to become her horse, and she goes over to her dad after Laura says no. She goes over to her dad and she's like, oh my gosh, you'd buy him for me, wouldn't you? And he offers her, Nels offers $5 for the horse. Laura says, not for sale. And Pa, she says, oh my gosh, Nellie says, you can't do that. That's up to your Pa. And Pa says, well, really, it's up to her. It's her pony. It's up to her whether it's up for sale. Now, this is very important for the whole rest of this episode, but we've already had the smirk has been smirked when Nellie asked about the horse being for sale. And then I'm going to call a small lion because Ma's over here telling Laura not to have mean thoughts about Nellie. So we're sure she has some good qualities, and to which Pa says, well, we'll have to go home and think of some of them. And now they're all tittering and laughing.
And
smirking. But really, we all know that was all because Ma told a little lion.
We have the return of the pipe.
The pipe.
Right in Carrie's face.
Yes, and he's lighting the pipe with a match, and then it takes her 3 tries for her to blow it out. But she's sitting on the table. She is out of the high chair, and she has lines that we could understand. Carrie was going for it. Go, Carrie!
Go, Carrie!
Woo!
And what did she ask? What Christmas?
Yes, so we get What's Christmas, and we get the story of the star and baby Jesus, and everybody is warm and fuzzy because it's Christmas at Plum Creek.
Woohoo!
Woo!
I wonder if they left the cabin open on purpose like that with no walls, because for how loud those girls talk in that loft, you can't tell me that nobody hears them. And when they're talking about it's Christmas, it's our first Christmas, and we got to do something special for Ma and Pa and Mary, I don't even know what they want.
Well, I mean, she didn't know what they wanted. I mean, they're trying to do something special, and Laura is the one initiating it as usual. And then we find out that Pa is hiding because he's hiding money in his fiddle case. He's got the fiddle is back.
Return of the fiddle.
Well, he's not playing it though. It's in the case because that's where he hides his coins.
He's tuning it up right here.
Yes, he's tuning it up right now as a diversion because we just watched him counting some coins. He poured them into his hand and he put them back in the fiddle case right as Ma comes out, because every night she does her sewing after the girls go to bed by lantern light, and she looks like she's got a whole heap of stuff that she's got to mend, and she's getting ready to come talk to him about it, but he was hiding it.
Oh, yeah.
They got their sneaky pants on because now Ma is sending Pa out while he's trying to pretend to tune the fiddle. She sends him out for more wood, which do they need it or not, we're not really sure, so that she can go in the cupboard and get the little tin thing that she keeps her coins in, and the one coin that's in it, you hear one coin in the thing, and she pours it out. Now I'm telling you, with the way that they pinch pennies in this show, she knew there was only one coin. They only did that for our benefit, but we appreciate it. They had the sneaky pants were on. Sneaky.
We got to see the sneaky look from Mary.
Yeah, the sneaky look.
Sneaky look. Why?
Because she just hatched an idea based on something that Ma said, because Ma said we don't have any money for Christmas, and if we're going to make this Christmas special, then we're going to have to make it that way.
Right, and it looks like Ma's ironing clothes and Mary's folding, and she picks up this white shirt and It has this big hole in it, and
She
that's
fits
when
her
you
whole
see the
hand
sneaky
through
look.
it.
But you brought up a good point. Doesn't Ma do all the darning, I think they call it?
Yes, she sews every night. They show her sewing after the girls go to bed. She sits at the table with a lantern on and she sews all the holes. And they used to say stuff like when we were kids, a stitch in time will save nine. So I think with the amount of sewing that she does, she would have kept up with it. This was a hole she fit her whole hand through, and this was all clean laundry.
But we had the sneaky Mary look.
Yes, a sneaky Mary look. Mary had been picking Ma's brain. What do we get, Pa? Ma had no clue what to get him herself. And then she started hatching this plan about something with the clothing. And now we have Laura in the barn with Pa. And he's making another fish trap, which really, like, he makes them a lot. They look like they're pretty sturdy. But, like, this is like a lifetime occupation. Like, every day he's making a new fish trap.
They must
and
be
he
falling
learned how
apart.
to do it himself. And she wants to get Ma something special. Now, why she zeroed in on Ma, I'm not entirely sure, but she's really into getting Ma something special. Pa says he's scrounging around too, so both adults have no idea what they're going to do for Christmas for each other, and they may have an idea about the kids, but this is where we're at.
They're pretty much all clueless.
Just a bit.
We're greeted right away with some smirk.
The smirk, and then they're
being
actually,
a little bit of a jerk, too.
Well, kind of. I mean, so they jingle into town with the dream team of horses that he got in the 100-mile walk, and he's jingling into town, and we see that the kids are standing up in the back with no restraints.
Yeah.
They're just out there taking their chances, standing up. They got nothing holding on. They're holding on to the back of the seat while the wagon is going. They get to the Olsen's mercantile, and it is decked out for Christmas. And we see Mrs. Olsen is raising the prices actively while they're there in front of them. So Charles has to joke because we noticed that she's not fussing so much about the eggs like she does when Ma comes in by herself. But now he says, well, did the price of eggs go up? Meaning how much money we get back? And she says, of course not. And then we get the smirk because he kind of says that now we know what they were saying when they wrote Ebenezer Scrooge. So, I mean, my goodness. And then Ma is laughing like a schoolgirl because he's so witty.
Wow. I'm going to say this again. They are clueless.
Clueless. They are all with the sneaky pants still on, watching each other, except for Mary's got a plan.
Yeah.
Mary has a plan. She goes over to the fabric, and she has the idea, which we're going to spoil a little bit, because if you could just watch the show, but, like, she's going to make him a shirt, and she needs to get the fabric, and she was looking at the bolt of fabric, but she has a definite idea of what she wants to do specifically for Pa. Now, they're trying to figure out, Pa and Laura are trying to figure out what does Ma want, because Ma does not ask for anything. Ma lingers a little bit long by a cast iron wood stove.
Yep.
Okay? And she looks at the price of it, and it's like $7.87 or something like that. And you can tell they use the music as its own little character over here, because everyone who sees this price, like, their hopes go up with the music. The strings are swelling. Everything is like, oh, this is so great. And then their stomach drops and the strings bring us right back down to the basement over and over and over again. With Ma, they do it again with Pa, because he was like, oh, she likes something. He sees how expensive. He whistles at the cost of it. And then Laura sees it and goes, oh my gosh. And now Laura has just come out to talk to Mary, who's already outside, because the fabric she had picked out, she has no idea how she's going to come up with this amount of money to get enough of this fabric.
We got to make sure we clarify when we say wood stove, it's a cooking stove.
This is a cooking stove, and right now Ma is cooking on the side of this fireplace that's in the middle. It's got a little piece on the side that gets the heat from the fire, and that's what she's cooking on. And I'm sure it's a lot more difficult. I gotta give an attaboy to Charles, because he figures out a way to make money to buy this with even a little bit of money to spare, because he finds out from Nels. He goes in the back, and Nels brings it up to him that, hey, do you know anybody that we can buy wheels from? Like, he's got a customer that wants to buy them, and there's nobody who does this kind of work in the entire county. So he spots that opportunity, and he's like, well, I know of a wreck, and I can fix them up, and they're wheeling and dealing in the back room over here. And he gets him to agree, because Pa says, I've never done this before. How am I going to find out if I know how to do it unless
Right.
I actually do it? And that's something else that they repeated earlier. So he's figured out if I can fix these well enough, he's going to make a whole $8.50. And he tells Nels, if you don't like them, you don't have to buy them. But he's wheeling and dealing in the back. But I got to give him some credit because just because he doesn't know how to do something, it doesn't stop him from doing it.
Go Chaz.
Go Chaz!
This is going to be the episode of Secrets.
Secrets and sneaky pants. They got their sneaky pants on. Mary has concocted a plan with Ma. She's going off to do something that she can't tell Laura about. Laura will find out about it later. Laura is trying to figure out what she's going to do because Mary's plan is going someplace. And then we see Laura and Nellie making faces at each other. And now we see a very upset looking Laura holding her head in the barn while Pa is trying to fix up these wheels that he told Nels about.
Christmas is not a time for prying or poking around.
Prying or poking around, there will be none of that. Laura is informed that it's hard to make money for a pretty girl like you. He couldn't even think of it. And now she's trying to figure out what to do. She leaves the barn. At least he cheered her up a little bit. But he's over there fixing these wheels. But there will be no prying and no peeking around in the barn. Pa diverts a case of prying because Laura's trying to find out what Mary is doing because Mary just informed everybody that she may potentially be able to work for 3 weeks with Mrs. Whipple, who is the local seamstress, and she had demonstrated all of her skills. And now Pa has said, after some questioning and some hullabaloo, he said, yes, you can do it because, I mean, he really doesn't care. And then she gets Laura to do her chores for the next 3 weeks, and then after Christmas, Mary will pick up Laura's chores for an entire 3 weeks, and Laura is trying to find out, what are you doing with Mrs. Whipple? What are you getting paid? And Mary said nothing, and that led to a case of prying. But Pa got in the middle of it, and he stopped it. We come back with a smirkaloo because Pa, immediately after redirecting the children from prying situations, pries into Ma's business when he sees that she's selling more eggs than she normally does. And she says, Charles, you know that Christmas isn't a time for prying. Prying.
He's got the prying. He's got and the smirk.
He's got the smirk on. He is smirkaloo. He's tossing eggs in the air. Because now he's like, oh, she's got a plan to give me a present.
I have to call a case of Lyin. Laura pops into the barn with Mary, and they're going to go to bed and good night. And then Laura stays behind and goes, it's not fair. What's not fair, Half Pint? Everybody knows what to do for Christmas except for me. Now, she's already asked him once before for help on what she can do for Ma. And what does he come out with? Oh, don't worry. I bet you're going to come up with something, whatever it is, it's going to be great. Lyin! You have no idea how to help her, and you're not even trying to.
She's gotten more non-answers from him than any kind. He hasn't even brainstormed with her. He pretty much just kind of tries to like pat her on the top of the head and send her away because the reason they went to say goodnight to him is because he's still out in the barn working for this money to get something for Ma. Before Laura is even able to get back into the house, the music lets us know that she's got an idea. And where she got the idea is when she came out and she's looking at her pony that Nellie was trying to ride around, and the music goes up with that little ting, ting, ting of an idea. So we know that Laura has now had an inspired moment.
And the horse's name is Bunny.
Bunny.
We're back during the daytime. It looks like they're getting ready to go into town. Laura comes out and asks if she can ride Bunny into town, and Ma told her to ask Pa. And Pa has to say, well, okay, I guess you're not breaking commandment.
Wait, but not breaking
like
a commandment because he figured out that the reason she wanted to ride Bunny into town was to potentially make Nellie jealous.
Right.
And she was honest. He said, do you really want to ride into town? Do you want to make her jealous? And she said, a little of both, I guess.
And we got the smirk and the okay, and now they're getting into town.
Yes, and she's riding her pony. They get into town. Mary runs off to Mrs. Whipple's, the seamstress, And then Ma and Laura have reserved time, 2 minutes each with Mr. Olson, not Mrs. Olson, Mr. Olson.
Right.
And Pa is out there with Carrie in the wagon and says, oh, I guess it's just us. Now they're trying to make it look like it's cold out. This is an open air wagon, okay? And now here's where we start the whole trope that they came up with, where Carrie constantly, consistently has to go to the outhouse. This is the first time she says, I have to go to the outhouse. And he says, well, I guess we have time. So now we're at Mrs. Whipple's, and she is very laboriously looking at what she's working on, this piece on the mannequin. We're in Mrs. Whipple's. She has a very fancy house.
Very fancy.
And she is giving Mary a glass of milk. And I have to admit, when I was a kid, the thought of having milk with any kind of dinner or whatever made my stomach turn. And it's like they always push the milk. So she pushed her the milk and donuts. Can't have anything out of a hungry girl. But we found out that Mary is now trading her time and labor so that she can get the fabric from Mrs. Whipple and the time to be sewing out of the sight of her parents. And then we pan out from the same fabric that is being used by Mary is going to now be held up by Ma. So they're letting us know a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes.
Oh boy.
Woo!
So we find out that Ma is going to be purchasing this fabric.
With enough for patch pockets.
For patch pockets. And then they pan outside, and we got Pa, Carrie, and Laura sitting outside, and Laura's growing very impatient. Ma's been in there more than 2 minutes.
Well, Pa's sitting, and Laura and Carrie have their hands behind their back like they did in that other episode where Carrie was going up and down in the wagon. They're pacing around.
So she comes outside, and there's Mr. Olson, who all of a sudden asks Chaz about those wheels he's making. Now all of a sudden the customer wants them painted, and you know, what's Chaz say? Great business, man. You throw in the paint, I won't charge you extra for it.
Right, but this is literally like 2 seconds after he told Laura, because Laura was saying, Ma took more than 2 minutes in there, and she's waiting her turn. And he says, don't worry, you'll get your turn. And he immediately jumps the line.
And goes in there to look at paint.
Right, so now he's following Nels into the storeroom because, you know, they got to pick out this paint for this thing. But Laura got completely jumped over just now.
Well, Pa got the paint that he needed and left Laura there, who wanted to talk to Mr. Olson in private, and their whole conversation was a whispered thing. It's
Yes.
Whispered secrets.
It was a whispered secret to which they both seemed satisfied. They shook on it, the handshake, and now Nels is whistling, singing Jingle Bells, so he feels like he has definitely solved a problem in his life with this whispered conversation. So we're left on the edge of our seats.
Ooh.
They jingle back home with the dream team of horses from the other episode. Everybody is in high spirits. Everything is going great. They all figured out whatever they're going to be doing. Laura is going so fast she keeps forgetting to close all the doors, and she just had to get permission to get into the barn because Pa, of course, is still being sneaky pants over here. And she has grabbed something from the barn, and she is racing into the house with it.
And Pa is in the barn with the smirk.
The Smirkaloo!
So Laura ran out of the barn. She runs into the house. She brings in a box, and it's got, I think, onion skins, and
To
whips
dye
out
wool
some of
with
Ma's scraps.
yarn.
And all the while, please don't say anything. It's a secret. It's a secret.
Yes, they have
Everything's a
been. They have been
secret.
promoting the secrets here. They're a little slower in our categories, but they are promoting secrets like they're going to get paid by it.
And we see that Laura looks like she's knitting something, and then Carrie, who actually had another line again.
Yes, and she's out of the high chair. She was on the bed, and she found a whole penny in her box, and she hands it over to Ma, and Ma turns around and says, Carrie, you're rich.
We're coming to find out that Chaz is not really the wheelwright that he thought he may be.
Well, it does look like he's doing a nice job, but he is struggling
Doing
with
a
the
nice
spoke.
job. He's struggling with the spoke, and I do have to bring up a point. Okay, he came out of that paint with the paint. Now he's in the barn. He's been working all this time.
And they
It's
keep
supposed
saying
to be
how
really
cold.
cold, and he's got the wheels painted, but doesn't paint kind of freeze when it's stored in that cold of a condition? Or maybe it's oil-based paint and it's something.
It acts differently, but every time we've done any kind of painting below 50 degrees, it's flaked off. And like, he is out in a barn that has no heat at all, no insulation. It's just like wooden walls that it's really more of a keep the weather off of you kind of structure than like a keep warm kind of place.
I will say though, when he had to get that last spoke in that would have finished this whole thing, it's still fitting a little tight. So what's he do? Break out a big hammer and start wailing on it until the thing splits. Way to go, Chaz.
He was like, I've been doing this so long. Give it a good whack. That'll fix it.
You know what else that fixed? The smirk went away.
The smirk went away pretty quick, yep. Pa just got tucked into bed with all of his clothes on because he came in so late from trying to fix these wheels to make money to buy a present that he is, like, exhausted.
Exhausted.
And I really feel like watching this as an adult, maybe if it took so long to do all of these things, instead of packing it all into a 3-week period, you could have started in like June and done like a little foresight and planning. Instead, it's like they promote this like, well, we need money. Let's kill ourselves to get it. I mean, like, he is exhausted here. She just poured him coffee. He said it was good. He is like out like a light with a lantern on. And like, I don't know, as an adult watching this, like, why do you have to do all this work just to do something for Christmas?
All I can really say to that is he's still in the same shirt.
He's in the shirt. The shirt's back in everything's there. We got it. It's the next morning. We're thinking it's not a school day because Mary's going to be at Mrs. Whipple's all day. Ma is telling them to be quiet until they're well away from the house because Pa is getting a rare day of sleeping in. So I'm thinking it has to be Saturday because Sunday they would be getting ready for church.
Right.
But she's letting him sleep in, and the kids are just arriving at the Olson's Mercantile.
And let me point out something here at the Olson's Mercantile. He's in there helping some lady pick out some kind of fabric, and as soon as Laura and Carrie walk in, he's got to tell her, oh, hold on, and turn his attention to them. Why can't you finish taking care of your customer that you've been working on, right?
Yeah, he stopped.
Just wanted to say that.
But this woman is like holding shirts up to him, like, this one with this one with this one. But she's taking so long with it that, like, maybe he knows something about her because they've shown her before looking at stuff and then leaving. So maybe he knows that she's more of a talker.
Just
and less
looks
of
a little bit
purchaser.
sketchy.
Yeah, but he stops for the kids.
We finally got one, courtesy of Mr. Olson. We have our first
Lyin. And it may be our second because I can't remember. It's been so long. But Carrie has been watching this star, like tinfoil looking star thing that said 5 cents on it. And it's up on the ceiling. And she's been staring at it pretty much the whole episode every time she's in there. And she asked to buy the star with the penny that Ma said she was rich from. And Laura says, you don't have enough money. And he says, this tag is wrong. To which we say, even though it's polite and he's kind, it was a Lyin. Thank you, script writers. We knew you had our backs. After 3 weeks of hard work, Charles schleps these 4 wheels over to the Mercantile, and you hear this sound. Like, the soundtrack is like this wind. Like, it sounds like it's getting ready to be a tornado kind of wind, or like that winter storm that blows everything down kind of wind.
He's got a light on the front of it that's swaying in the wind, too, so you can see it.
What does Nels tell him to do? Oh, leave them, because he's trying to put them in the barn or wherever, some storeroom.
Yeah.
And Nels is like, just leave them there. It sounds like they're going to go flying down the street. And then they go inside, and Nels is between a rock and a hard place here because he knows everybody's secrets. He knows the entire family's secrets. He knows everything that's going on in the background, just like we do. And he is trying to evasive maneuver Charles. Why?
Because Charles says, no, I don't want the money. I want the stove. And
a whole bunch of candy.
Yeah. He says $8. The stove is $7.87. You still owe me 13 cents. I'll take that in candy, licorice, and candy canes. And now Nels is like, you can't. What do you mean? It's like somebody already bought that stove. I'm just holding it for him.
Now I am.
Well, don't you have one in the back? No, that's the only one.
Well, and he says, I'm holding it for him, you know, because he says, whose is it? Well, I'm holding it for him. So that is a Lyin, because they've put him in a terrible spot here. He knows everybody's secrets, and now he's got to do this whole song and dance to try to get around.
And let's bring out another point. Nels is trying to sell him like anything else he can. And one of the things he says, we got this real nice clock here. Why don't you go for the clock? It chirps on the quarter hour 4 times.
Could you imagine it only lasts 8 hours?
And what does Chaz say? He goes, I don't need a clock. I need a stove. Your wife already has something to cook in, but there's not a single clock in the house. So
and there
why
hasn't
don't you
been.
need a clock?
There hasn't been. Well,
Just
I mean,
saying.
you know, he's got his mindset, and in this 3 weeks, he made absolutely zero contingency plans. So he has now ripped a page out of the. He's ripped a page out of the catalog from the Olsons, and he had asked for an envelope that somehow he got for free, and he folds everything up, stuffs it in the envelope, and then folds the envelope up because now he's got to have something to put on the tree for Ma that in 10 to 12 weeks, this stove will arrive. So it'll be like, what, spring by the time this thing comes. Merry Christmas, Ma.
Merry Christmas.
They must have got a fresh snow because Pa is over there snowshoeing cross country, gets a turkey, shoots it, comes back, and now it's the hustle and bustle of the holiday. Ma is saying, how am I going to survive with this stove? Laura is over here smirking, so she got the smirk. The smirk came down, and the jeans over here because she's smirking because she's thinking, oh, great. But really, it solves her problem after the fact. They put Carrie to bed, and what's Pa doing? He's out there fiddling! Woo! The fiddle is back. It's a fiddling. They are dancing. All the girls are dancing except for Carrie, who's bouncing up and down in bed. Why you just didn't let her stay up with everybody else? I mean, really, like she's like springing like it's a trampoline over there.
And now Olsen shows up. He's open the door, Ingalls. And he comes in with this big giant crate, and it says, no, do not open until Christmas.
Right, so it's got a big secret.
Big secret.
Mr. Olsen tries to make a fast getaway during his delivery. Charles goes out there and kind of corners him in the wagon. He's got somebody else driving for him, Nels. And he says, I don't know how you did it. And Nels is between this rock and a hard place. So he just says, Merry Christmas, because he figures, you know what? Let them all figure this out. This is too much for me. They leave, but Charles is over the moon that this big heavy crate has what he feels is what he was asking for, and somehow maybe he thinks that the other person who had reserved it was done with it, and Laura is smiling because she knows the deal.
He had the super smirk going.
Oh, he had the smirk. He turned around. He practically skipped back into the house.
Here it is, Christmas morning, and we're greeted by Captain Clueless and his wife. Oh, where do we start with this? So they have the gift giving going on, and now we're finally get to share what all these secrets were about, which is why they are Captain Clueless and his wife.
I mean, in 3 weeks, they were so busy, all of them, that nobody understood what was happening in the background here. Mary's shirt is revealed, but we already know that Mom made the same exact shirt, so she tucks it under something.
Yep.
And Pa got the scarf, and then they do the whole gift exchange. They admit at one point that they forgot Carrie, because we've said that before, and she'll come back in later. But then Laura gets the saddle and she tries to hug him, and that was our first crying because she's starting to get misty-eyed because she knows something that nobody else in the building seems to know, right? And here's the Clueless.
And here's Ma finally opens his giant box and sees the stove.
And then
and then we get Mr. Smirk over there. Go, I wonder who that's from.
I wonder who it's from. She
pulls out the note, and this is Laura.
Laura!
You should have seen the smirk just disappear.
It just died on his face. If anything was dying in this episode, it was the smirk.
And right on cue, here comes Nels with Nellie.
Yes,
coming
and then she
to
does
collect
her little
horse.
Curtsy. Yeah, Ma tries to get them to reverse the deal. She's going to give up the stove, and Pa says, no, it's her right.
And that brought about our second
crying because now Laura is bawling because she has to give her pony, her beloved pony, that we have no idea how she got this pony, to her nemesis over here, Nellie, because she sold it for a present for Ma.
So if you think about it, that stove was $787. Nels offered her $5 for the horse originally. So somehow, not only did she get the price of the stove for the horse, but she got free delivery.
She
too.
got free delivery, okay? And she
Free
convinced
pickup.
him to go pick up the pony the day after so it wouldn't tip anybody off. So he had to make 2 trips out there. She got Nels to come out to the farm twice.
Yeah, so
And she got Carrie's star because Carrie was the only one who remembered Jesus for the holiday of Christmas. She was the only one. And she got him to wrap it, and he reduced the price by 4 cents. And Laura got him to throw in the wrapping paper.
So, both daughters ended up getting for their parents what the parents were trying to get for each other. So, in the end, the parents got themselves nothing.
Nothing. They really didn't Ma could just give the shirt and laugh about it. I know she was trying not to steal her thunder, but they could have made it like a funny thing instead of her hiding it like that. I found that kind of strange, and then it all works out in the end, and Carrie's cute looking up at this star on the tree because she remembered Jesus at Christmas. So thank you, Carrie, for being the only one who remembered Jesus in this entire holiday.
We were a little light on the Lyin and the Cryin, even though they did bring it to us. But I mean, this was a holiday special.
But they were really promoting keeping secrets, and now we find out what happens when you keep secrets, because Pa worked on this whole saddle for a horse that's not even there anymore.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So, if you like this one, join us for the next episode, which will be Family Quarrel.
Ooh, are they fighting?
They're fighting. And that concludes this episode of Two Lockies,
the podcast.
And our series, Dyin,
Cryin,
and Lyin.
We release these in 3s, so if you enjoyed it, there's more. Go check it out.
Go check them out. We'll see you next time.
We're out.
See ya.
Two Lockies, the podcast.
Two Lockies, podcast.
Two Lockies,
The podcast.